Yo, what's going on, guys? Today we are going to be going over Friendly Fire Zane. Now, this is the first ever Zane build where you can actually target your clone and heal him, so you can increase his survivability infinitely. On top of that, your clone's going to be healing you. This is kind of like the Swiss Army Knife Zane build, but with a strong focus on a clone and drone playstyle. So if you like the Swiss Army Knife Zane build, but you don't want to play with the barrier for once, this is the build for you. Alrighty guys, so I am gonna explain the main interaction in this build, and that is the back burner. Now, this gun isn't completely available for everybody right now. Agonizer is currently bugged. We're gonna be doing giveaways in my Discord because you can actually farm this gun from Pain and Terror. So if you are on console and you want a Mayhem 10 version of this gun, join my Discord in the pinned comment down below. Now, the reason why this gun is so important and so awesome with Zane's Digiclone, I'm gonna show you right now. So if we summon Zane's Digiclone, you will see that the back burner actually has friendly fire. So look at my Digiclone's health. It's going down, right? What's really awesome is we are basically comboing a shock back burner with the transformer. Now, this has two key interactions that is like insane. This is probably gonna be the best gun on the Digiclone, hands down for a long time, unless they come out with something crazy, but watch this. Instantly, I heal my clone's shields, and that is because the back burner actually has friendly fire. So go ahead and shoot this at one of your friends in multiplayer as well if you want to troll them. But this gun basically has friendly fire, and that's why this build is called Friendly Fire Zane, because we can heal our Digiclone, and more importantly, while we're mobbing, he's gonna heal us because we're gonna be giving him the shock back burner. Now, this is the main interaction in this build, and this is probably the only like actual required gun in this build. And you also must be using a transformer, and keep in mind you don't want elements on action skill end, and that'll make sense. But let's keep going over the build for now. Basically, like I said, this is gonna be the only required gun. Otherwise, that's why I said this plays kind of very similar to the Swiss Army Knife Zane build. You can use whatever guns you want otherwise. This right here is actually one of my favorite setups right now, and I think this is going to be my setup going into the Guardian Takedown. I am really expecting the Reflux to do a lot in the Guardian Takedown because they're going to be covered in armor, and then they're just going to be shields underneath, at least the Ascended Guardians. At least I think so. If things change, of course, we will update the build. And then Zane's clone can hopefully take out some Guardians with this shock back burner as well. Besides that, I really recommend trying out the Chaos In and the Monarch. These are two of my favorite weapons, but like I said, you can use whatever you want. I like using the King's Calls, Redistributors, more Monarchs. I got a Monarch in every element. The OPQ system is very awesome. Of course, you can use some of the other launchers like the Yellow Cake. The Plague Bearer is very, very strong. Zane's clone is actually decent with this as well, but I really recommend sticking to the shock back burner. And you guys can just play around with whatever you want. Like I said, this is like the Swiss Army Knife Zane build, except I really wanted to focus on a clone and drone playstyle. And now we're gonna go over the skill trees because we actually have some tricks inside of our skill trees to also help us get infinite rocket ammo. So going into the skill trees, we spent enough points in blue to get Good Misfortune. This, comboed with the See Undead class mod, gives us infinite action skill uptime, and I kind of just spec'd into these kill skills as I saw fit. You always want a couple points in playing dirty because your clone and your drone is going to help force activations on this skill. Even if you don't have a lot of points in it, you can still get a lot of your shots guaranteed to get additional projectiles. Besides that, I really recommend you copy the exact same skill tree here. I know a lot of people are only running 1 point in Salvation right now, but we actually have to run 2, and I will explain why with the rest of the skill trees in 1 second. Besides that, I wanted to show off the green tree real quick. Now, I actually am using Hardy Stock because we are using a transformer and kind of a big shield method. So this actually is not a bad pickup, especially considering we're just filling up our shields with our shock back burner. Ready for Action is an amazing skill, but you know, if we're just auto-filling them up with a shock back burner, then this skill doesn't really matter so much, you know? Now, what was important to me was that I actually get a couple skill points into Brain Freeze. You guys are gonna see in the gameplay that we have no problem freezing enemies, and it was kind of important for me that I got to this skill because I wanted to be able to play Zane normally, but I just wanted to focus on my clone and my drone because sometimes those are my favorite action skills to play. Now, moving on into the red tree, you can see we got all the way down to double barrel. Now, all of these are pretty obvious obvious pickups. Keep in mind, I don't really use synchronicity that much. This is just gun damage, and it's not actually adding a huge bonus. So I prefer skills like Praemunitus, but if you're not using guns like the Monarch, then this might not be handy, and just stick the points back into synchronicity. Besides that, I maxed out Donnybrook, of course. We stuck a bunch of points into Borrowed Time. Now, Duct Tape mod is kind of important for this build. This is gonna help us get extra grenades, extra See Undead, extra all that, and you notice we're not playing Fractal Frags. See Undead paired with Fractal Frags literally makes the clone spam so many grenades that he will not shoot his gun. So if you are using a See Undead class mod, you actually have to ignore this skill. And yeah, it's kind of funny, but you know, whatever. Moving on, we have all of the obvious skills in the bottom. Now, the main thing we're gonna talk about is this 1 point in Trick of the Light. Now, what's awesome about Trick of the Light is we are actually comboing this with our Shock Backburner still and our Transformer. Now, Trick of the Light adds a little bit of bonus cryo damage, and what that's gonna do is damage us. So look at our RPG ammo. And as you can see, we are just absorbing tons of ammo. You can actually just pretty much shoot the ground forever. Now, there is one thing I want to mention about Trick of the Light. Sometimes you can actually damage yourself with this skill. And that's another reason I picked up Hardy Stock and I picked up Salvation. If we're actually dealing more bonus cryo damage than our shield capacity, you can actually damage yourself and kill yourself sometimes. Someone actually pointed this out in my Twitch chat. I wasn't sure why I was randomly dying earlier, but that is why we picked up Hardy Stock and we put an extra point into Salvation. This kind of counteracts that, and I noticed I was not dying anymore once I spent these skill points. Now, one other thing I want to point out about the Shock Backburner is with the Transformer on, you could shoot this thing at the ground forever and abuse it to keep yourself alive forever. Now, don't get me wrong, that is not what I do with this build. However, I want to let you guys know a cool trick. You guys are going to see some of this in the gameplay, and I just want to explain what I'm doing. Now, if our clone is alive, that is the key to our survivability. So as long as the clone is alive, we are alive. The clone will actually heal you with Salvation on top of healing your shields with the Backburner and the Transformer. So as long as the clone's alive, we're alive. Just make sure you position him well and make sure you use Quick Breather. And also remember, you can shoot the clone himself to heal his shields with the Backburner. And yeah, so the main thing I wanted to point out is if your clone goes down, you can actually just spam the Backburner at your feet to basically cheat topped off. You will get your clone back super quickly, and this is my method to like just infinite survivability with this build. And as long as the clone's alive, I don't have to play this cheap, you know, play style where I'm just like sham fleeting. This is kind of cheap. A lot of people look at this as cheese. However, it's a pretty cool trick to bring your clone back very quickly. Now, the last thing I want to mention real quick is these 3 pieces of gear. I like using an Icebreaker with this build because I like using guns like the Monarch where I can't actually run around fast and shoot, so the Icebreaker gives me some extra damage. The Chaos In is a monster with the Icebreaker. It actually does absurd amounts of damage. And besides that, you can really do whatever you want. Of course, I toss on the Snowdrift for bossing, and for my Wotan kill, I always use a Snowdrift. Besides that, look for See Undead with weapon-specific bonuses. You can see my See Undead right here has the exact rolls that you're looking for. Crit damage, splash damage, and weapon type damage. Now, weapon type is shotgun damage in this instance, or pistol damage, SMG assault rifle. These will give you the best bonuses when it comes to Zane. And besides that, for the grenade, I always use a Hex Grenade because this triggers See Undead and it gives you the most action skill uptime. It helps trigger playing dirty. Now, the one thing I also want to point out is you actually notice I'm not using elements on action skill end. Our goal is to actually keep our action skills up. We actually want to keep our clone alive. On top of that, if you have elements on action skill end, you will actually kill yourself with your Backburner, so be very careful of that. And I think that is everything I have to mention about this build. Now, what's really awesome about this setup is this is the first build where we can actually heal our clone with our gun by shooting him. And this is the first setup where the clone can actually heal us. So this is really crazy and really awesome. Now keep in mind the clone does not do a ton of damage on Mayhem 10, but he will be able to strip shields with this. When Gearbox releases the Guardian takedown, when they release the new DLCs and they release the Phase 1 and Phase 2 of fine-tuning Mayhem 2.0, this build is only going to get better. So I really wanted to share this setup with you guys, and I will be updating it in the future. Besides that, I am just gonna play out some gameplay from my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/thickfilet_. I streamed a lot of this gameplay live, so if you like what you see and you wanna come hang out with us, check me out on Twitch. And besides that, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the rest of the video. Like I said, we will be doing giveaways for all of the back burners for PS4 and Xbox. Join my Discord to figure out how to enter. It's basically just gonna be duping lobbies. Everybody will get a copy of all of the weapons. Just join my Discord. The giveaway will happen tonight. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Don't forget to drop a like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe to the channel if you wanna see more Borderlands 3 videos. See you guys in the next one. I'm out. You know what's funny? This probably isn't a co-op build. Because literally my Digiclone would kill like anyone in my lobby accidentally. Especially since Transformer might end up not being the best choice if Bullet Absorb isn't as useful. That could be true as well. I didn't think about that. Bullet Absorb probably will be less useful. Although in this setup right now, I'm kind of just bullet absorbing myself with my RPG. Yo, Incubrush with the follow. Thanks, dude. Yeah, in your setup it'll still be? Yeah, in this setup specifically. So you know what's cool about this build though? I can actually target heal my clone. At least his shields. But I can heal him with Quick Breather too. So this is actually the first clone setup where you can actually like target heal your clone with the Backburner and Transformer. Clone still needs a buff. This setup will get better as the phases happen. Like right now, it's not like perfect. It's not like the strongest thing ever for sure. But once Clone gets a good buff, it'll be really, really good. Which should apparently be happening with phase 2. Like, look how long it takes them to deplete a shield. It's kind of sad. Fingers crossed, man, I guess. I mean, we should. They literally said they're gonna buff action skills. Like, the actual damage of action skills. He just needs a damage buff, in my opinion. I mean, his AI is dodgy, but, you know. Like, look at the shield damage. It's okay. It's not bad. But it would be nice if he could deplete them quicker. Reflex, honestly, isn't bad. Even on red health enemies. It's really bad against their shields, though. Like, while these dash commandos are shielded, the reflex won't do shit to them. But once you get them unshielded, it's really not bad. I think a Zane class mod in the future should involve buffing the clone. Yeah, I'm honestly surprised we don't have a clone class mod. Like, technically we have Shockerator, but that's literally it, and it's such a bad class mod. Like, it doesn't do anything. Would also be nice if Clone would full auto instead of burst. Yeah, that's what I was saying. His AI is a bit dodgy, but if they at least just buffed his damage, like, there is weapons he's really good with, AI-wise. So, like, I think that would be a better place to start, because fixing his AI, like, you would literally just have to go through every gun. Like, I don't know how they could blanket fix it. I don't think they could. Because, like, naturally, an AI will just be bad with some of the guns when you have a million guns in a game. Underestimating shock novas? Yeah, okay, buddy. Yo, Shawnee IRL with the follow. Thanks, dude. And while they are all distracted by Backburner, I get to just come in and calmly take them all out from behind. Like, this setup with the Backburner actually does a very good job at distracting enemies as well. Because the Vortex, or the Singularity. that the last one? That might have been the last one. Something like the shock backburner that though does a lot to keeping him alive and also keeping you alive. That's why I like it so much. Bum bum. The clone actually does decent damage with the backburner too. Why put the clone there? What do you mean? Oh, dude, I gotta switch my bossing loadout. All right, let's get this and a snowdrift. That's it. Wotan be like, hello? Why you change place with the clone in the cutscene? To get him down in the arena. I'm just gonna have to swap places with him eventually anyway. And that's probably the safest moment, considering that barely any enemies have spawned yet. I hate how that kills me. That doesn't make any sense why that kills me when I do that. Yeah, Wotan's legs are still broken. Did we do it? One more. First time Thick listened to the Phase 1 soundtrack. Yeah, dude, I turned the music back up. I actually turned it back up because for Guardian Takedown. Because I want to hear the music when they introduce Guardian Takedown. I think that'll be nice. Yeet! And boss down. Honest? Yeah, right. Sometimes I do that when I'm recording footage for a video and I'm just watching YouTube in the background. I play with thick stream on. Let's go. So you gotta listen to my sound. You can't listen to your sound if you have my stream in the background. Yeet! Oops, wrong gun for clone. Steve redeemed. Yeet! Yeet, yeet.